Today programme on BBC Radio 4.
Are the media part of a metropolitan elite with little awareness, contact or connection with the lives of the people they report on and broadcast to? Yes, appeared to be Jon Snow's answer last night when he delivered the most prestigious media lecture of the year, the MacTaggart, at the Edinburgh International Television Festival. Snow, who's presenter, of course, of Channel 4 News, said he'd come to this view after his experience of reporting on the Grenfell Tower disaster.
There's a great deal of anger around here. Is that because you feel really absolutely neglected over these?
People had to stand there and watch friends and family die.
Why? 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 No! Well, no! Why walk away?
There are more than 100 people who died in this place.
Yeah, I understand that.
Not 10 or 15 people.
But why did they come here before?
Because
Why did they not come here
more than
before?
100.
Jon Snow joins us from Edinburgh. And reading your speech, Jon, I got the sense that question from that man, where were you, why didn't you come here before, has haunted you.
Well, it has, Nick. Good morning, and very nice to be talking to you. I mean, there's no question that what happened, here in the 21st century at Grenfell Tower was an utterly shocking experience. And then the awareness that, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other people living in similar conditions across the country.
And your answer, I said seemed to be in the introduction, you did say it, was, look, frankly, I am part of an elite, we, let's include me in this, are part of an elite who are out of touch with the lives of ordinary people. Why so?
Well, we do very full-time jobs. We have few opportunities to spend our time, perhaps working in social enterprises and other things which take us into contact with people who live in these tower blocks. I'm not alone. Let's remember that the new leader of Kensington Chelsea local authority who look after that tower had to admit that she herself had never been up a tower block. Well, she was responsible for children and families. Did that never take her up a tower block? And then, of course, you ask, how many of us have ever been up a local authority housing tower block?
Well,
not
isn't the question
very many.
which you allude to in the lecture, not just how many of us have been up, but how many of us actually started in that sort of lifestyle? And isn't the problem that journalists are not merely overpaid these days, but many of us come from privileged, privately educated, let's be honest, rather posh backgrounds?
Well, the most specific figure we have is from the Sutton Trust, which states that somewhere near 80% of all managers and directors in the media come from grammar and public schools.
Now, there's a danger that this sounds like the liberal metropolitan elite sort of self-flagellating on the Today programme. What are you saying should be done about it?
What I'm saying is that we need to widen our intake of people. Draw from a much wider cross-section of the community than we do. And the way we have to do that is to extend apprenticeship schemes, make real opportunities for people who might not otherwise find any gateway into the media.
So do you accept that when you, as it were candid and said you felt like you were on the wrong side of the divide, part of the elite, it's not just background, it's attitudes. Attitudes to the impact of things like austerity, but also attitudes, frankly, to things like immigration, where it's often felt by people that broadcast journalists were dismissive of people's worries and fears.
Yes, I think that's true. But I don't know, the whole question of immigration and all the other factors, austerity, I think, is one of these things which genuinely, I do not think the broadcasting classes have really suffered austerity in any form. I think austerity has been something which has happened to other people very much at the bottom of society, and as a result, it's all come as a bit of a shock that people haven't enjoyed the austerity, and may indeed, it could have affected their votes on Brexit, for example. A government comes forward and says, well, would you please sort of think about the European Union? The European Union was about the 16th issue on people's doorsteps during general elections.
And yet you do link what you felt after Grenfell in your lecture with what happened in terms of Brexit and also in terms of Trump as being part of that problem of being out of touch.
Well, probably you were also exposed to this, I don't know, but covering the Trump election took us to parts of America none of us ever visit. And I say that the America we never visit, the Americans we do not know, are the people who delivered Donald Trump. And I think to some extent that is also true of Brexit.
One last one, John, if I may, because we're a bit short of time.
Sorry.
You didn't really focus on impartiality. Lots of people say they say Channel 4 News, you know what they say, you're not just liberal, you're left-wing. Would we not be more in touch if we just let go of these old rules? You said what you really thought on air, and people who agreed with you could watch you, and people who agreed with me could watch me, and so on and so forth.
I think impartiality is a very, very precious entity in our media. And I'm grateful to the fact that we do have a regulated broadcasting system, and that you and I are impartial and should be. And of course, all of us have views, but it absolutely behoves us to be impartial when we're dealing with the issues that we're broadcasting about.
And 10 more seconds, if you would, John. Easy to give. Well, it's not easy to give a lecture, it's hard, and you did a rather interesting one. But the test is really whether anything changes in a year's time, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you something has changed. I attacked Facebook, and Mr. Zuckerberg has changed, is announcing that he has changed the view of Facebook when it comes to the way in which news entities get money from their material which goes on to Facebook, and that is a dramatic thing, and that came out a half hour after I sat down.
In other words, that instead of carrying a lot of what you put, and Channel 4 News does very, very well on Facebook for free, you're going to get some more money from them.
Absolutely, and that's what he's pledging is going to happen this year.